Luciérnaga Informativa nos vestimos con lloros, expertos en el arte textil. Ozzy Osbourne llega con todo a Aimee. Las pantallas de este canal estrenarán las 9 vidas de Ozzy Osbourne este 15 de marzo. Estuvimos en una videoconferencia con el mítico cantante y esto fue lo que ocurrió. Yo soy Pablo Macotela. Bienvenidos a Luciérnaga Informativa.
Buenas tardes y muy bienvenidos a este encuentro con todos los medios de prensa para presentar el gran estreno de las 9 vidas de Ozzy Osbourne. Hoy tenemos la gran oportunidad de poder conversar con Ozzy, el príncipe de la oscuridad, desde Black Sabbath hasta el día de hoy, un ícono y un referente de la música y el mundo del espectáculo. Con Sharon Osbourne, su musa, su mujer y su roca. Y Jack, su hijo y además productor de esta biografía que solo se va a estrenar y transmitir por Aimee en todas sus plataformas.
Con mucho entusiasmo estamos aquí el día de hoy para presentarles un proyecto que nos toca mucho el corazón y también nos entusiasma por lo que representa para muchos de nosotros ver la vida. Y la vida la quiero decir desde el punto de vista no solo como músico, sino también como padre y como figura pública de Ozzy Osbourne. Esta es una biografía producida por el hijo de Ozzy Osbourne, así que tiene un toque muy interesante y único que se va a transmitir únicamente por Aimee, bajo la franquicia o el paraguas de Biography. Y ustedes me dirán, bueno, ¿y qué es Biography? Algunos de ustedes nos acompañaron durante muchos años en la trayectoria de contar historias en primera persona, en su mayoría, de grandes líderes, íconos y personajes de nuestro mundo, contados a través del lente donde solo Aimee lo sabe hacer, con un acceso maravilloso, con una mirada de un personaje completo, lo que es contar una biografía. Nosotros vamos a transmitir en todas nuestras plataformas las 9 vidas de Ozzy y los invitamos a que comuniquen este gran estreno y que sean partícipes de lo que la franquicia de Biography trae para Aimee y para su público.
We are excited. We are so happy that today we are going to have the chance to interview Ozzy, Sharon, and Jack Osbourne to talk about the 9 lives of Ozzy Osbourne, the bio of Ozzy, only on Aimee. Now it's time for the interview. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Ozzy. Hello, Jack.
Hi.
Hello. We want to know, Ozzy, who is or who was John Michael Osbourne?
John Michael Osbourne was a guy who was a son of a working class mother and father. I was confused when I was younger what I wanted to do in life, and then I heard the Beatles. When I heard the Beatles, I knew what I wanted to do.
And who is Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness?
That is the persona. That's the stage person. He's too much to handle when I'm not working. I leave him on stage. I'm very conscientious. I care deeply about my audience. I'm the luckiest man in the world to have such a long and prosperous, fruitful career. And that my wife is a big part of my career because she directs me after leaving Sabbath. My legacy is that I had the best life that anybody ever had. You know, I mean, I came from rags to riches. I'm back again, and you know, it's my profession has opened the doors to so many other ways. I mean, my way of life is completely
Different to what you had.
Yeah. Different to what I had.
I think it's a very accurate documentary. The way Ozzy is portrayed is Ozzy. You know, we didn't try and alter him for the documentary. It's very real. It's very truthful. And
It's not always nice either. It's not always like, it's not, we haven't glossed it over to make me look bigger and better than what I am. There's some good, there's some sad, there's some very honest information in there. Very honest.
yeah, you know, it shows Ozzy's triumphs, it shows Ozzy's hard times. And, you know, I just think that it's a great documentary on somebody's life, and Ozzy's had an amazingly interesting life.
Yeah, we all have regrets. I have regrets, but would I change any of them? The regrets are what help you become what you are at the end of the day. I mean, I think every living person has some regrets, but I don't let it rule my life. My family is everything.
Yes.
My wife, Sharon, and my 3 children. I have children from a previous marriage. I love my family. It's the reason why I'm here. Meeting Sharon and falling in love with her. And I love her more now than I ever did when I first met her. So there's something I'm doing right there.
I'm blessed. I was very, very blessed to have met Ozzy, and Ozzy changed my life also. In, you know, I never ever thought that I would ever have my own family until I met Ozzy, and he's done so much for me as I've done for him. And I think that we were 2 people that, you know, from different walks of life, with nothing and everything in common. So it was a relationship, I feel, that was destined.
I mean, you know, it for me, it's everything. You know, my kids and my life, and my entire adult life, I've worked and lived and, you know, done everything with my family. I always have. So it goes just into the kind of just typical family relationships. You know, all, you know, mine, Kelly, mom, dad, like our lives are so intertwined on so many levels. You know, and ultimately, I think the love of each other is kind of what makes us want to endure the chaos that comes along with that.
Oh, I would say that
If you really want to know the real truth behind Ozzy Osbourne's C9 Lives, it's so well done, and people that have seen it have gone like, wow, you know, it's just all I can say to you, watch it and see what you think.
yeah,
I love it.
You will learn so much about Ozzy, and it's real.
And it's not all glamorized, it's not all polished off, and you know, we're not high folks. It's very, very honest. It's very truthful, honest, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
I mean, this is a biographical kind of story of my father's life. So, you know, the Osbournes was more of a fly on the wall docuseries that just saw us living our lives in that moment, and this is a journey that takes you back to, you know, the origins of who my dad is as a child, and all the way up to present day. So, you know, you get everything from, you know, his time in Sabbath to going solo to, you know, marrying my mother to, you know, and everything in between.
For me, he's a survivor. He's lived one hell of a life, and he just survives what life has thrown at him. He will pick himself up and start all over again. And he's a good man. He doesn't pretend to be anything he's not. What you see is what you get with him. And he's just, you know, an amazing survivor. He's managed to come through things that other people in this industry have not survived. Ozzy has survived, and he's prospered, and he's still, after maybe 52 years, he's still relevant in the music industry. People still love to hear him, And it's just amazing. He's had an amazingly interesting life.
I think it's a feel. I think
Great.
it has to feel right. You know, most things that we all do as a family kind of tend to filter through my production company most of the time. And yeah, I don't know. It's just if it feels right, and if it's one of those things where we're all able to do it, and it's not something that we might regret, you know, we usually will take it into consideration. But if anything, it all comes down to the feel and the vibe of the show. Yeah, I mean, we listen, in the documentary, we're given, you know, 2 hours to tell 72 years. So we try and fit as much as we can. You know, there are stuff in the film where it's stuff people already know. And then we try and sprinkle in a lot of things that people don't know about, you know, first-hand accounts of certain stories and things that kind of go a bit deeper. You know, as far as his Parkinson's and the way that we tackle it in the film, you know, when we shot this, it was during his kind of, you know, the bulk of his diagnosis. So, you know, we acknowledge it, we talk about it, and we, you know, and that's kind of where we're at with it. You know, what we know is what we put out there. Mom, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. It changes every day. You know, some days Ozzy is brilliant. His walking is fantastic. He feels great. And then the next week he could have, you know, 2 really bad days where he doesn't feel a lot of energy. So nothing is permanent with it. It changes all the time. And, you know, Ozzy works out with a physiotherapist. Every new medicines that come out for Parkinson's, we look into, and the best treatments for him. So, you know, every day is a different day. It's not like you have this, so for the rest of your life, you're going to be sat in your chair. That's not the way it is for Ozzy.
But it's certainly not slowing him down at all. I mean, you know, he recorded 1 album. He's doing another right now. We're shooting another show. It's like, you know, his diagnosis has, you know, has slightly changed his life, but I would not say it's drastically altered his life.
Yeah, I do. Listen, there are a million pop singers who are female, but there are much, much less women that want to go into the field of rock. And so, yes, you're right. There are so many, you know, much fewer women that want to work in the rock field. But, you know, it's very different now. There are, you know, people look at women differently now. They are, you know, if you're good at what you do, you get your credibility. And just make sure that whatever field you go into, especially the rock field, you have to know that you are good, that you truly are gifted and good at what you do. Because in the rock field, it's not like the pop field where people, they'll tell you right to your face, you know, like, bye. There's so many fields of reality TV now, so many. All I can talk of is, you know, when you go in and the family. I'm not talking about the competitive types or of reality or the Big Brother type, which was really a sort of experiment for how people would be if they were, you know, locked in together for a long period of time, how people would react. That's Big Brother. But when we talk about reality shows on families today, it's all has a lot of structure. It's like producing any other TV show, because they don't film the way we used to, where 24-hour cameras are going on and on and on and following you and going everywhere. They usually say, well, we've got 6 weeks of filming. We're going to do this, this, and this. And it's already pre-written, and it's not spontaneous. It isn't organic. It's written. It has so much structure to it. So you don't get shows like the Osbournes or Anna Nicole, hers was real, and you just don't get that because it's too expensive, and most families are quite boring.
Man, that's a tough one. Yeah, I think there's been many a time we've sat around being like, oh no, is this the final one? You know, I was talking to my mom the other day, and we were joking that I don't think 1980s Aussie would have done very well in 2021. I think the man who he was back then just would get canceled really quickly. But fortunately, he weathered that storm pretty well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's, you know, some cats have 9 lives, some have more. You know, maybe, you know, I'm hoping he's got plenty more up his sleeve.
I think Kelly put it right when she said he is the true Iron Man. He loves doing what he does. He loves his audience. He has a love affair with his audience. It keeps him. That's Ozzy, you know. Ozzy and his music are one. And listen, he's had to slow down like everybody. There's been no touring for so long, and there won't be any touring this year either, but you just don't think about it. You live in the day. We all live in the day. We don't think about next year and the year after. We just, you know, just live in the present. We don't think about it.
I think for me it was difficult making the doc, and you know, and then seeing it at the time that we did it, because we were, I would probably say 80% of the film was done when, you know, he took his fall and he got the kind of official Parkinson's diagnosis. So it really was like this strange, you know, I was like, is this, you know, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen with him. So it was kind of a strange time to be working on a biopic, because, you know, there were times where I was like, is this more of a eulogy than a biopic? Because it was really, it was pretty scary there for a period.
It's I think when you show somebody's life journey from a young man to, you know, there's pictures of Ozzy when he was like 20 years old here, and you see Ozzy at 20, 21, and then you see Ozzy at 70. It's somebody's life journey, and you see them go from an innocent, you know, guy that had no responsibilities, nothing, just a dream. And then you see that dream come true, and then you see the tolls that life have taken on that man. And then you see the way they've run their life, what that has done to that man. And then you know, it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. And especially when you're watching somebody that you absolutely adore and love. And sure, you know, it brings back memories, and you see how powerful and just exuberant Ozzy was in, you know, when he was 20 and 30, and it just, you know, loved life. And that life has changed, as everybody's life changes when they hit the age that Ozzy's at now.
Yeah, I mean, it was very difficult to figure out what to include and what to take out. You know, ultimately, you kind of have to. It's like it's a jigsaw puzzle. You know, you figure out what the frame is, and then you start working your way inwards, and that's kind of what we had to do. You know, you're given 2 hours to put, you know, to tell the story of 72 years, and so. You know, there was some stuff that we kind of glossed over, which might have been a little bit more important, and then there are others that we focused on because they had to do with more where he is today. So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and our director Greg Johnston really, you know, that he bared that load, and he, you know, he did an amazing job stringing the story together to make it as kind of captivating and informative as possible.
Yeah,
I think he just wants to get back out on the road.
Yeah, he's he's in the studio. He wants to finish this album, and then he just wants to keep writing and recording and be with his band. It's very frustrating not to be able to work with his band. So he's looking forward to that. It's all part of marriage, you know, being there for each other. And yes, Ozzy was there for me, and I've always been there for him. But it's just, I have an amazing amount of respect for my husband that grows, and you learn to love in a different way after so long. You know, in a couple of months, we will have been married 39 years. But I've known Ozzy, God, nearly 50 years. So, you know, he's always been in my life, and the thought of not having Ozzy in my life is just not acceptable. It's, you know, we've always been together. And, you know, your love does change and grows in different directions, and it hasn't stopped. You know, my love for Ozzy hasn't stopped growing.
You can answer that one. I don't want to get sued.
We can't say who it's with because we're very shortly putting out a press release, but it's all very positive. But the press release will be out very soon. Jack.
Oh man, that's a long question. I mean, I don't necessarily know what advice I would give a musician today. I would leave that up to the music manager on the interview. But you know, it's definitely been as a son, it's been a very interesting and I mean, I'm full of so much gratitude for the life that I've had and the father that I've had, just because of, I mean, my entire life has been a gift, and it's been made possible because of, you know, who he is as a father. And, you know, and I don't ever take that for granted.
Yes, when I say pity, it's not for people to feel sorry for Ozzy because of his, you know, recent diagnosis and also his accident on his spinal cord. Ozzy he doesn't want anybody's pity. He's had an incredible life, and, you know, to make Ozzy happy is just give him a stage, and then Ozzy will, you know, be as happy as he's always been. Just to know that he will be back on stage and he will be performing. That's all he needs. All, and we have to thank all of the fans in South America who have been so loyal to Ozzy over the years. And, you know, Ozzy says, without his fans, he's nothing. So then we would be nothing. So we want to thank you for everything, for supporting him through good, bad, and ugly. So thank you. I'm
just really glad you enjoyed it. You know, it was a definite labor of love. And yeah, I just hope everyone at home can, you know, take something new away.